But here is a story that I started last week that is not a conspiracy theory. It is what I would call a reality of relationships. So Tony Rizzo talking about the Browns owner, he's a Cleveland sports talk show host, Jimmy Haslam, and the Manning family and Arch Manning. Here you go.
I know it's nothing that they want to talk about, but I'm telling you the thirst that Jimmy Haslam has for Arch Manning is unmatched. The Haslams donated a ton of money to Tennessee. They have a relationship with Manning family. I don't think it's a coincidence they acquired a second first-round pick.
It is not. In fact, this is the worst-kept secret in the South. Haslam, Jimmy, owner of the Browns, huge SEC Tennessee booster, leans heavily on the Manning family. Very close to the Manning family. Yes, that's not make-believe. Arch Manning is part of the Manning family, and this is where Nick Saban comes in. Saban is incredibly close to not only Jimmy Haslam, but Saban's close to the Manning family as well. And so Saban, if he could land, I'm told, a top quarterback like Harbaugh going to the Chargers for Herbert, he would take a phone call for the NFL. And there are two teams guaranteed to be awful this year in the NFL. Cleveland and the Saints. Nick Saban has coached in Cleveland with the Browns under the Belichick staff, and he coached at LSU. This is not a conspiracy theory. Haslam's circle of trust, according to an article in The Athletic last year, is the Manning family and Jimmy Sexton and Bill Parcells. Sexton is Nick Saban's agent. So the Mannings are royalty in New Orleans. The Children's Hospital in New Orleans is called the Mannings Children's Hospital. And the Mannings are royalty to Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam also loves headlines. That's why he pushed to draft Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield. They were the most talked about quarterbacks. It's why he signed a ridiculous guaranteed contract for Deshaun Watson. It would get discussed. So this is not a conspiracy theory, okay? The circle of trust for Jimmy Haslam is the Manning family and Jimmy Sexton. Saban's, Manning, Haslam, South. That's why I've said. And there's two teams in this league that are going to be bad. The Saints are going to be bad, and the Browns are going to be bad. Now, that doesn't mean Saban, if he doesn't take the job, it's all lost for Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, the GM, more than capable. But this story is a poorly kept secret. The Mannings, Haslam, Jimmy Sexton, Nick Saban. That's why I ran with that thing last week. Lane Kiffin talked about it. Greg McElroy. Saban's not going to college. He would take a call in the NFL. All right, J-Mac. J-Mac, you are not a conspiracy theorist. We did land on the moon, but you do hear this a lot. You really do. You heard it a lot about the Dodgers before the season. There was all this fear-mongering. Yankees haven't won a trophy since 2009, I think. And if you really look right now at some of the most poorly run franchises in the last 15 years in the NFL, I'm not saying necessarily today, though in many cases it is today, it's been Chicago teams, the White Sox, Bulls haven't been good, the Bears, the Giants, the Jets. Yeah. So the truth is, I think you do get more game day revenue in big cities like New York, LA, Chicago, and Philadelphia. You get great game day revenue. But really what runs sports is passion, integrity, attention to detail, and sometimes in smaller markets, you can make Mark Few, the basketball coach at Gonzaga, always told me this. This is why Gonzaga wins more than UCLA. He said, at Gonzaga, I can sign 3-star recruits. Our fans trust the process. He goes, if you take a Duke, Carolina, Arizona, UCLA, if you took 2 3-star prospects, they're crushing you. That is the pressure of USC. What are the stars? It's the pressure of the big cities. What are the stars? Who are our men? Milwaukee's losing managers to the Cubs. They go out and get another manager. Yes, sometimes you get cherry-picked if you're in a Milwaukee or a Pittsburgh or a Kansas City or a Buffalo. But the truth is, most of the best run franchises in pro sports today, there are some exceptions, are medium to small market. Oklahoma City, brilliantly run. Indiana, incredibly well run. I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers disappointed us this year. Look at their roster over the last 3 or 4 years. They just haven't missed on many acquisitions. They hit on almost all of them.
Yeah, I actually was at the Dodgers game last night. They were very sloppy all around. The pitching, Ohtani did nothing until the bomb when they were down 5 runs in the 9th. Like, I just was unimpressed by the Dodgers last night. But let me just ask about this Browns take, because that's kind of spicy. If he loves Arch Manning so much, is there a world where Stefanski and the owner and the GM, everybody got on the same page saying, hey, guys, we can take a gap year, okay? I don't want to take a quarterback first overall. Let's just get the rest of the roster ready. Let's re-sign Myles Garrett. Let's get some positivity and gun for Arch Manning next year. And I know nobody's saying you're throwing a season, but there is a high-level discussion to be had about smarts and future.
Well, yeah, they don't have to. The division has much better rosters and much better quarterbacks. So Cleveland can try to win, and I think in September, through good coaching, they'll be fun to watch. But you can't convince a locker room that lacks talent after you're 1-5. People start bailing, and then you start resting guys. So you don't have to tank in the NFL. It'll all take care of itself. Now, the Rams also have 2 first-round picks, and I've been told they'd give both up for a quarterback, but they're going to be too good. And the other pick comes from, I think, Atlanta, and Atlanta's probably going to be too good to be a top 8 or 9 draft pick. So Drew Aller's on the show later. He'll be the first or second quarterback taken, in my opinion. But Cleveland and the Saints don't have to try. Now, the Saints are in a weaker division, so they can win games because of weaker competition. But the Cleveland's losing twice to the Ravens, probably losing twice to Burrow. And the Steelers' roster, especially on the defensive side, is just much better than Cleveland. And Cleveland doesn't have a quarterback. So you don't have to tank in the NFL. Bad teams by mid-October are going to become, I mean, we know the New York Giants aren't very good. We know the Saints aren't good and Cleveland isn't good. You just look at their schedules. These are 1-5 teams to start. And at that point, you lose the locker room. No matter how popular the coach is, you have controversy, dissension, and it all slides downhill.
Let me ask, though, the interesting aspect of this is the coach. Everybody knows Stefanski's a really good coach. He's won Coach of the Year. Colin, how attractive is this job to everyone if Arch Manning is the #1 pick and the Browns have the #1 pick? Do you keep Stefanski, or do you move off and you have your pick of the litter? Anybody?
I would keep Stefanski unless I could get Saban. I would keep Stefanski. I don't want to listen, Stefanski to me is an A coach. Saban is an A coach, and literally you're triple your merch. It would be a revolutionary hire. But there is no third candidate. If I can't get Saban, I'm not getting rid of Stefanski. Stefanski's excellent.
I would say Bill Belichick, but I'll put him to the side for now. Don't turn your nose up at Bill Belichick, the greatest coach in the history of football. Okay, let's not do that.
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, you can throw that out there, but he had a pretty sour taste in his mouth on what happened in Cleveland.
For you. Just hypothetical. Deion Sanders.
There's no proof he could win at the NFL level.
There's no proof Saban can win at the NFL.
There's a lot of proof he is really, really good football coach.